In 1985, marine biologist Denise Hersing swam with wild dolphins for the first time. What began as a 6-week study turned into a 40-year journey exploring how animals communicate, a story she shares in her book, Is Anyone Listening? Though some reviewers note a lack of data and citations, they also praise the book's heart. Hersing's lifelong passion for animals and nature shines through every page. Sometimes the best science is born from quiet devotion. Even when the data comes slowly, the love never does.
Imagine watching a solar system literally form before your eyes. Well, astronomers just did. Using both space and Earth telescopes, they locked onto a newborn star called HOPS-315 and caught it at the exact moment it started building planets. That's right. This baby star is surrounded by a swirling disk of gas and dust, aka the raw material for future planets. Normally, these scenes are hidden by violent gas jets that blast out from infant stars. But in a rare cosmic twist, this star was tilted just right, giving scientists a front-row seat to the beginning of a solar system. Basically, they just saw a rerun of how our solar system was born. So, astronomers basically caught a baby solar system in the act, universe cam, but make it cosmic maternity ward.
Wait, how does a python swallow a whole animal bones and all, and not overdose on calcium? Turns out Burmese pythons have a secret: special cells in their intestines that lock away calcium like little bone bank vaults. Scientists found that when these snakes eat prey or even just get calcium supplements, these cells absorb the mineral and prevent it from flooding the bloodstream. Then, when the snake's done digesting, the cells quietly release the extra calcium, and it exits the body. Bones in, poop out, all part of nature's weird genius. What if we could mimic this mechanism for calcium disorders in humans? Nature might just be holding the blueprint for smarter medicine.
Some animals mimic others that predators avoid, like hoverflies imitating wasps. But sometimes the copy is a bit off, so why don't they perfect the look? To find out, scientists 3D printed a lineup of insect models, some real, some fake. When presented to predators, birds quickly spotted the difference. Invertebrate predators? Easily fooled. Turns out, the better the predators, the better the mimicry needs to be. In nature, being close enough might actually be smart. Sometimes survival is about being just convincing enough. Just 15 months into a 5-year mission, MethaneSat, designed to detect powerful greenhouse gas leaks, has gone dark. Built by scientists and environmentalists, it used AI to track methane from oil and gas infrastructure that's often hidden. The cause of the blackout is unknown, but the mission proved even nonprofits can launch game-changing satellites. The silence is a loss, but the message is clear. Science doesn't need billionaires to reach space.
Imagine this. It's 50,000 years ago, you're a Neanderthal, and dinner is fermented mammoth with a side of squirming garnish. That's right. A new study suggests Neanderthals didn't just eat meat. They might have waited until it rotted, then ate the maggots too. Why? Scientists found super high nitrogen levels in some Neanderthal bones, the kind you'd normally see in apex meat eaters. But instead of hunting nonstop, they might have let nature do the prep work. Maggots that fed on decaying meat absorbed nitrogen, and when Neanderthals ate them, the nitrogen got passed on. So yeah, turns out the paleo diet might have included a little extra protein. Bon appetit. So scientists just found out that your ancient cousins might have been out here treating rotting meat and maggots like it's gourmet charcuterie.
Neanderthals were boiling animal bones to extract fat, 100,000 years before modern humans ever tried it. At Neumarkt Nord in Germany, thousands of bone fragments tell the story of a large-scale operation. Animals were intentionally brought in, bones processed for survival. Different tools, different times, but survival, just like us. As zoo archaeologist Lutz Kindler puts it, the way they lived is absolutely comparable to modern hunter-gatherers. Turns out Neanderthals weren't just surviving, they were innovating. Scientists have sequenced the first full human genome from ancient Egypt, taken not from a mummy, but from the teeth of a man buried 4,800 years ago, during the era of the first pyramids. The genetic data shows links to ancient North Africans and Middle Easterners. Unlike traditional mummies, this man was buried in a ceramic pot, a sign of high, though not elite, status. This breakthrough offers a clearer window into Egypt's deep past. No bandages required. Sometimes the deepest stories aren't found in gold coffins, but in humble teeth. We've built machines that sound like they care. Now we must make sure they don't harm those seeking help. He urges strict safeguards for AI like ChatGPT. No romantic intimacy simulations. No chats on death, suicide, or metaphysics. Let's build AI that helps, without hurting. Empathy in code must come with responsibility and design. A system called Centaur can forecast what decisions you'll make in a wide range of scenarios, from gambling to solving puzzles, even in tasks it hasn't seen before. It was trained on over 10 million choices made by 60,000 people across 160 psychology experiments. It often outperforms classical psychology theories. You can basically run experiments in simulation instead of real people, says co-author Marcel Binz. Free will, or just really good algorithms? A growing number of researchers are now working with chatbot-powered teams to brainstorm and build scientific ideas, just like a human lab group. Computer scientist Rick Stevens puts it simply, it's like having extra colleagues, except they never get tired and they've been trained on everything. Testers say it's fast and helpful, but not quite as creative as a real conversation. AI teams are brilliant coworkers, but they might never match the spark of a real human aha moment. The iconic stone statues of Easter Island, called Moai, were carved centuries ago from soft, porous volcanic stone. Now they face a new threat: climate change. Relentless rain, wildfire, and rising seas are wearing them away. Some statues near the coast are at risk of being lost forever. The people of Rapa Nui are now racing to save these ancient guardians of their heritage. We're not just losing stone, we're losing memory. They found that quantum tunneling, where a particle magically sneaks through a barrier, actually happens faster when the particle has less energy. Wait, what? In classical physics, this should be impossible. But quantum physics has always played by its own strange rules. This twist deepens the mystery around tunneling time, a concept with no clear definition, and how fast particles can really cheat barriers. In the quantum world, the slower you are, the faster you go. Imagine playing a video game without moving your hands. Thanks to a cutting-edge brain-computer interface from Chinese tech company StareMed, a man with no limbs can now do just that. This tiny, minimally invasive device works with fewer sensors than its American rival, Neuralink, but it's unlocking big possibilities. Backed by national innovation funding, China is accelerating BCI development, restoring hand movement in people with paralysis, and even helping a patient with a brain tumor communicate in Mandarin. The future of neurotechnology is unfolding, and it may be coming from the East.
China's not playing around when it comes to science power moves. With its global rep skyrocketing, the government's launching bold recruitment programs, like the 1,000 Young Talents Plan, to poach top Chinese researchers from overseas. We're talking massive funding, juicy perks, and instant career glow-ups. These fast-tracked scientists often walk straight into top-tier university roles. But here's the drama. Young researchers who stayed in China aren't thrilled. According to one expert, they complain a lot about not getting the same love. So yeah, China's science scene is booming, but it's also serving some elite hiring energy and a side of internal resentment. Imagine working your whole life in a lab, only to get leapfrogged by someone who just flew in with VIP science status.
HIP 6-752-2b orbits its star so tightly it's tearing itself apart. It takes less than 10 days to complete one loop, releasing magnetic waves that strike the star, which then flares back, blasting the planet with radiation. Each flare strips away part of the planet's atmosphere. This is the first recorded case of a planet magnetically influencing its star. Commentary line: even in space, toxic relationships can burn you alive.
Okay, wild science moment incoming. Surgeons have figured out how to literally revive human hearts for transplant, even after the person has died, like actual flatline to full pump revival. One method, used for kids, takes the heart out of the body and runs a cycle of oxygen-rich blood through it, like it's on life support, 2.0. Meanwhile, the second method is straight-up science fiction. It freeze-preserves adult hearts inside the donor's body until it's go time for transplant. Translation? More lives saved, more hearts beating, and one giant W for medical science. So yeah, doctors just figured out how to bring dead hearts back to life. And nope, this isn't a Marvel movie.
The pipeline supporting deaf students into science just got cut. 5 programs from high school to postdoc have lost funding after the NIH pulled its grants. But here's what's louder than silence: resilience. Wyatt Hall, the first postdoctoral graduate of that very pipeline, says deaf students will keep going, but they shouldn't have to go it alone. Without support, brilliance may never be heard. It's not about ability, it's about access. Academia must act, because silence shouldn't be a barrier to science.
Okay, here's one for the bio textbook of the future. 8 kids are walking around today with DNA from 3 people, and they're perfectly healthy. This isn't sci-fi. It's called mitochondrial donation, and it's meant to stop babies from inheriting super harmful genetic mutations passed down in mitochondria. Scientists take the nucleus from a fertilized egg that has faulty mitochondria and move it into a donor egg that has healthy ones. Boom. One baby with nuclear DNA from their actual parents and mitochondrial DNA from a second woman. It's like a genetic remix that saves lives. So apparently, you can be born with 2 moms and a dad. And science is totally cool with it. So get this. In the 66 million years since dinosaurs peaced out, mammals have independently evolved into ant-eating machines at least 12 different times. Like, evolution is weirdly obsessed with building anteaters from scratch. We're talking marsupials, egg-laying mammals, placental mammals. Doesn't matter. If ants are thriving, something's gonna evolve to slurp them up. Scientists think this insect-eating frenzy kicked off when ant and termite populations exploded after the dino extinction. One researcher even said, things keep evolving into anteaters somehow, which sounds like a glitch, but it's just nature doing reruns. Basically, Earth loves ants, but also keeps inventing new ways to eat them. Apparently, evolution looked at ants and was like, yeah, let's build a vacuum cleaner with legs. Again, and again, and again.
Scientists are calling for an extension of human embryo research from 14 to 28 days. A move they say could unlock new breakthroughs in medicine and early development. But with it comes a strong call for ethical safeguards. Run pilot studies in certified labs. Trigger ethics reviews if anomalies appear. Make all data and decisions public. It's not just about science. It's about trust, transparency, and responsibility. More answers, more accountability. Can we balance both? Emoji have become a universal form of expression, tiny icons that bridge language barriers. But are they a real language? In his book, Faced with Tears of Joy, Keith Houston explores this question. Like ancient hieroglyphs, emoji began as simple pictures, but they lacked grammar, structure, and consistency, essential parts of language. With a little help from emoji expert Cher, Houston calls them insurgents within language, a colorful, living system that is evolving in real time but still defies full understanding. Emoji aren't replacing words. They're reshaping how we feel our way through language. They might not speak in full sentences, but they definitely say something.
Food that's engineered to make you overeat? Yup, critics say ultra-processed foods are linked to weight gain, diabetes, and heart disease. Why? Because these aren't just snacks, they're lab-designed crave traps. Nutrition advocate Gerald Mandy says food companies know what they're doing, and they're designing products to keep you coming back. But here's the twist. There's no universal definition of what makes something ultra-processed, and we don't even fully understand how it causes harm. With weak public health systems and powerful food lobbyists, will anything change? It's not just about willpower, it's about what's on your plate and who put it there.
14 years after the Fukushima disaster shook the world, Japan is reigniting its nuclear energy program. The government has begun restarting dormant reactors and is planning to build more. aiming to shift its energy mix by 2040. Why? The country wants to reduce its heavy dependence on fossil fuels, which are both expensive and damaging to the environment. But not everyone is on board. In 2 small fishing villages in Hokkaido, where radioactive waste is set to be stored, locals are divided. For them, this isn't just an energy debate, it's about trust, safety, and the legacy of Fukushima. Balancing energy needs with environmental and social concerns is no easy task. Japan's nuclear comeback may offer cleaner energy, but public trust must be earned, not assumed. Maya Chung-Seliani, a former international student and now a researcher in global education, warns this shift goes far beyond campuses. It risks slowing the flow of ideas and transformation. International students are not just guests. They help power national research and innovation. Removing them from immigration numbers and protecting the right to study across borders could help keep global education open and thriving. When we limit who can learn, we limit how far we can go, as nations and as a world. Immune cells known as natural killer cells could be enhanced to destroy the culprits behind autoimmune diseases like lupus and systemic sclerosis. In 2 small clinical trials, researchers successfully genetically engineered NK cells to hunt down rogue cells that produce harmful antibodies against the body's own tissues. Unlike CAR T therapy, which is costly and personalized, NK cells can be taken from donor blood, making this approach potentially faster and more affordable. What if healing meant teaching the body who the real enemy is?
Malaria just met its tiniest opponent, and this time the baby wins. For the first time ever, a malaria treatment made just for infants is hitting shelves in parts of Africa. It's called KoKochem Baby, cherry-flavored, breast milk dissolvable, and specially dosed for newborns. Developed with help from a Swiss non-profit and drug maker Novartis, this life-saving med will be distributed not for profit. It's not just science, it's compassion in action. Every drop could mean a first birthday. This isn't just a new medicine, it's a second chance.
A new wave of weight loss drugs is emerging from China. One of them, ecnoglutide, helped people lose up to 13.8 kilograms in 48 weeks, far outperforming the placebo. It mimics the same appetite-suppressing hormone as Ozempic. China is also testing drugs like UBT251, a triple agonist that targets hunger, blood sugar, and fat metabolism all at once. The future of obesity treatment may be shifting east. Science keeps pushing boundaries, and I hope these breakthroughs give you hope for a healthier future. A new study of nearly 3,000 adults suggests that chronic inflammation, often seen as a natural part of aging, may actually be a byproduct of modern industrialized living. In Italy and Singapore, inflammation rose with age and was tied to diseases like chronic kidney issues. But in indigenous communities in Bolivia and Malaysia, this link didn't exist. Inflammation isn't inevitable. Thomas McDade, biological anthropologist. Maybe aging isn't the problem. Maybe it's how we live. Massive budget cuts under the Trump administration have forced layoffs and slashed science advisory panels. Some insiders say academy leaders have compromised too much, staying quiet when science needed defending. Academy President Marcia McNutt calls it a Faustian dilemma: speak out and risk collapse, or stay silent and survive. When science is silenced to survive, the cost might be truth itself.
You ever ignore something on purpose? Like, you know it's bad for you, but you avoid it anyway? Congrats. You're just being human. According to psychologist Jeremy Faust, there are 3 big reasons we dodge uncomfortable truths. 1, to protect what we already believe. 2, to avoid doing something we don't want to do. And 3, to stop feeling like trash emotionally. It's not always bad. Skipping the doom scroll can actually boost your mental health short-term. But here's the kicker. If you only look at what makes you feel good, you end up living in a biased little bubble. Basically, truth dodging might save your mood today, but mess with your mindset tomorrow. Your brain's like, I could deal with this info, or I could stay comfy and pretend it doesn't exist.
When George Slavich lost his father unexpectedly, he knew as a clinical psychologist how deeply stress could impact his brain and body, but surprisingly, his doctors didn't seem to care. There's a gap, Slavich says. We know stress is harming people biologically, but the medical system often overlooks it. Now, he and other researchers are digging deeper into how stress silently contributes to chronic illnesses, from heart disease to immune dysfunction, and why it deserves a front-row seat in healthcare. Stress isn't just emotional, it's biological, systemic, and sometimes deadly. Isn't it time we treated it like any other major health risk? In early July, Texas faced what meteorologists are calling a worst-case scenario, a deadly flash flood that struck in the middle of the night. What made it so devastating? The heaviest rain landed right at the headwaters of one of the most flood-prone rivers, packed with communities downstream. And it happened on the night of July 4th, when many people were asleep or distracted by celebrations. Meteorologist Alan Gerard warns that this tragedy shows why strong weather forecasting matters. He urges the U.S. to protect its National Weather Service and fund better disaster prediction tools before the next storm hits. This isn't just about weather, it's about priorities. Climate extremes are here, and cutting funding to the systems meant to protect lives is a dangerous game. We can't stop storms, but we can choose how prepared we are.
Did you know bats can vaccinate each other just by grooming? In Central and South America, scientists are testing a wild but brilliant idea: a gel-like rabies vaccine that's rubbed on a few vampire bats. As the bats clean one another, something they do every day, they unknowingly spread the vaccine through the colony. In just 7 days, 88% of the bats in a trial group were protected. No syringes, no mass captures, just one smart use of nature's own behavior. This could stop the spread of rabies to farm animals without using poisons, saving lives without harming the ecosystem.
In Japan, married couples must legally share the same last name. That law is creating real barriers for female scientists. A survey of over 7,500 researchers found it affects patent applications, grant recognition, career credentials, international travel. And worst of all, it disrupts how their life's work is credited. Though the law doesn't say who must change their name, 95% of women still do. It's a century-old rule, but the impact is painfully modern. A name should never stand in the way of your science.
The pipeline supporting deaf students into science just got cut. 5 programs, from high school to postdoc, have lost funding after the NIH pulled its grants. But here's what's louder than silence: resilience. Wayate Hall, the first postdoctoral graduate of that very pipeline, says deaf students will keep going, but they shouldn't have to go it alone. Without support, brilliance may never be heard. It's not about ability, it's about access. Academia must act, because silence shouldn't be a barrier to science.
Imagine hitting 50 and your body suddenly goes, "All right, time to self-destruct." A new study says human aging doesn't just gradually creep in. It dramatically accelerates at age 50. And the biggest culprit? Your blood vessels. Turns out, arteries like the aorta start pumping out a protein that basically tells the rest of your body to age faster. When researchers gave that same protein to mice, they started aging too, like full-on fast-forward mode. One of the scientists said, "Your blood vessels might be spreading aging molecules like they're running Uber Eats or DoorDash for wrinkles and gray hair." So, yeah, your own circulatory system could be ground zero for aging, and you didn't even see it coming.
In the 1960s, some schoolchildren in English-speaking countries were taught to read using a strange, experimental script, the initial teaching alphabet. With over 40 characters, each representing a single sound, it was meant to make learning to read easier. The idea? Start kids off with Ida, then switch them to the regular alphabet later. But by the 1970s, the experiment was dropped. Many children were left knowing only this foreign alphabet, one that no one else used. For some, it caused lasting confusion and impacted their reading and writing for life. Sometimes innovation forgets the people it's meant to help. This failed alphabet reminds us, learning tools must be empowering, not isolating.